Why am I excited about today's visit? Well, if you're watching him, I mean, the guy is. Can you pan down so the viewers can see more of just
No, no,
more of the
not
tank top?
panning down.
I mean, you have got the Pythons out today on episode 174. The great Ryan Divish, proudly brought to you by Chalet Bowl. Chalet Bowl, not only a bowling alley, apparently a CrossFit establishment as well.
Don't ever associate me with that cult that they call that. It is a cult.
Established in 1941, not the cult, but Chalet Bowl, located in Tacoma's Proctor District, family owned and operated for 40 years by the great Frederick family, who every time I go on social media, Reggie, all I do is see pictures of you golfing. Thanks for the invite. Their staff specializes in customer service, bowling, food, fun experience at their unique 12-lane facility. Go to chaletbowl.com to make your next reservations. Yeah, look at you. You got the tank. Viewer or listener, go over to the YouTube page later, and you can see Ryan Divish with the Pythons out, getting in a workout in Miami. Maybe going down to South Beach a little later, sir.
No South Beach for me. I did work out. It's a 3 gold bond type of day here in Miami. I went, so the gym is so muggy in the gym, like everything's kind of, all the weights are kind of rusty a little bit because of it. And then I worked out a little bit, mostly I was just doing it so I could watch some Full Swing on the iPad. I'm going back through, and then
So good.
and then I went for a walk / run / mostly like the speed walk. And so, yeah, it's like running in a steam room. It's great. I mean, I need some eucalyptus so it smells a little better around here. But no, it's because the thing is like when you're old like us, when it's humid but it's warm, it's good for your muscles and your bones. Like you feel loose. And
That's why all the old people live down there.
Yeah, it does smell like death. But
welcome to Florida.
Yeah.
Smells like death.
It's like it's either just excessively young club girl or old people. It's never.
Why can I interrupt and ask why Gold Bond and not the old Johnson & Johnson baby powder? So I'm an old Johnson & Johnson baby powder.
It's the tingle. You like the tingle from it.
I don't know if it's good for you. I don't like the tingle.
I don't know if it's good for you or not too. There's probably going to come out some study that like it causes like some weird cancer or.
Well, didn't that happen to baby powder? Wasn't there something about that?
Yeah,
I thought there was.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but it's like that's why some of the players hate the City Connect pants because they can't powder up as much because it comes through the pants because they're black. And like some of those guys got some Quadzilla on them. You can't have chafing. Like I don't know if anybody's ever done this before, right? I mean, like all guys know, but like you go play golf or you go play softball. And you don't powder up and it's muggy and you start chafing and It is the single worst experience of your life. And then like the residual effects are days later. Like you are chafed and you are not happy.
You can't recover.
No,
you never can recover. I think we had a Little League baseball game the other day or yesterday, and I think the 10-year-old he was like complaining. He's like, that kind of my balls hurt, and I'm like, I go, whoa, why? He goes, they're kind of red. I'm like, that's chafing. That's it's bad news,
like,
bud.
You gotta tell these kids too. It's like that's why they invented the spandex, like the compression shorts. You put it on there. You can't wear like your normal underwear and expect it. They're not created. There's seams and stuff. You gotta. It's like life lessons, like dad speak. But before you have the birds and the bees talk, you have to have the chafing talk. Like seriously though. I don't. When it does get warm in Seattle or whatever in Tacoma, like, and I go golf, especially like I played Chambers last year, like I wore like baseball compression or like basketball compression shorts under my golf shorts because I'm not like you're walking and I'm not going to go through that ordeal at Chambers Bay and have something like that ruin my day. I can't believe we're talking about
this.
It should. We never talk about
You're just going to let your golf game ruin your day. Well, those are the two great things about chafing and what you just said. The two best words or descriptions are duck butter. What's the other one? Duck butter.
Swamp ass.
Swamp ass. There's nothing better than when someone describes it as duck butter.
Yeah.
It's just so.
I got one of my college teammates. I got a pound of duck butter between my legs. Does anybody want to like spread it on a sandwich? And I'm like, oh my god.
That is so. That is so wrong. That is so absolutely wrong. You know what we talk about a lot? The Mariners traveled so far, right?
Yeah.
God, there is nothing. I mean, I know they came from Cleveland, but I'm just saying Seattle to Miami.
Oh
God, these guys. I mean, and I know they're flying. It's nice air, but they're not flying like a charter, are they? I mean, they're not flying like their own personal plane.
It's not a custom made plane with couches or anything. No, it's a charter with all, first class style seating in it. But yeah, it's not like the Mavericks plane with like TVs and couches and beds in there.
That's what I would do if I were an owner. And I know, I mean, they're not hurting for money. That would be like my first investment. If I was one of these owners, I would buy my own plane.
Well, I mean, like, or else just like you set up a partnership with Alaska and say, like, hey, okay, we're going to give you this advertising. I want you to have the custom paint, on the Mariners, and we'll refit it. And then, like, I mean, if you're the Mariners, you tell Alaska, like, look, do this, and maybe other teams will want to join in. Like, let's put this together. I mean, Alaska has its own issues right now with planes, but
sure.
So I flew
But your point, your point. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, it's like. Yeah, for Alaska, because it's local, would make sense. And like they do it like with the Huskies and the Cougars, right? They paint the plane, paint it in Mariner colors. That'd be a great idea.
Well, and then just like because of the travel issues, and it's well known in baseball how difficult the travel can be at times, do things to make the travel more amenable. It's never going to be perfect, but I mean, like that, I mean, again, vice president of common sense, I feel like is a job that the Mariners need. And I feel like I would be very, very. I better make.
Why don't you apply for that? Is there? Can you put that on your LinkedIn page?
They can't afford to pay me. They'd have to pay me more than Kevin Martinez for all the work I'd have to do. Like
just put it back. Put it on Kmart's tab.
It's like okay, if you're gonna spend all this money to have the Hatback Grill and all this stuff, maybe not charge $25 for a cheeseburger and $14 for a beer.
Yeah, but on that, on a serious point on that though, for an organization that at least the perception is right that they struggle to get free agents, and part of it is, well, one, the ballpark like with hitters, but two, I think is the travel. At least that's what you hear from people. What a great way to counter that with like, hey, yeah, but we have our own plane.
Yeah,
and like we will make it first class for you, and it will be the best plane of any team in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, put some flat screens in there, have the gaming set up, all that stuff, but just so it's not just an airplane seat, make it more like, I'm not asking them to have a G6, a flight of G6s to fly these guys, but like there's ways to make it more amenable for these guys. And I mean, they travel a lot of other extra staff, but I mean, like, I just think that would be a smarter way to do it. That's one of the reasons why, like, Cuban, when he did that with the Mavericks, is because he's like, he looked around and goes, there's a bunch of tall people here. These seats aren't comfortable. Like, let's fix this so, we have the ultimate comfort level and get guys there.
Now, do you allow team broadcasters to travel on it, or do you make them fly commercial? My vote would be commercial.
Well, they're not. I mean, they're only traveling. The broadcasters can't afford apparently to put one person on a plane.
I know, but I'm talking about all of them. Make Riz fly coach.
Could you imagine? So you'll have to ask Adam Jude about this, but the other day when he was flying to Cleveland, I think Ty France had to like do a couple of things before he was cleared to, be reinstated from the injury list. I don't know if he had a doctor's appointment or what, but like, so he flew commercial with Adam and Kramer, and Ty was and we know how Ty's built. Ty had middle seat in the row in front of Jude. And then about 40 minutes into the flight from Cleveland, apparently the two guys on each side of him recognized who he was. So then Ty had to talk about it. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, can you imagine the horror and just the pain. Not only is that man, because he's a big guy, he's sitting.
Yeah.
No one, and I don't care if you're small. No one likes the middle seat. Okay, and then he's got to sit there and listen to these two guys chew his ear off about the team when all he wants to do is put in his earbuds and watch a movie. Now, I would say E3 on France, though.
Yeah.
He should have immediately put in the headphones right away and put on a movie, and you are out.
Yeah, just act like you're sleeping even if you're not. And the thing is, he's so big, they can't, like, it's not like they're going to ask for the armrest back. Just get big. Like the one year I flew a red eye to Cincinnati for the All-Star game, and Macklemore's bodyguard sat middle seat. And this man, because Macklemore and Ryan Lewis and Chris Berman, three people I like Ryan Lewis, but the other two, they were on the flight with me, and they're sitting first class or whatever. So they make
the help sit in the back.
Yeah, and Wands, I think Wands was an exit row with me, but like the bodyguard's sitting in the middle seat, and I'm just like, this is my life. And I couldn't move him. So I don't know. I like that flight. So I got up yesterday in Havre at 3 a.m.
Tell me your travel day, how you go from Havre, Montana to Miami, Florida.
So we were going to go and stay the night in Great Falls on Wednesday night. My stepson, technically, I mean, I haven't gotten married yet, but Tyson was supposed to play a game in Great Falls, and we're going to stay the night, and I'd fly out on a 7 a.m. flight back to Seattle on Alaska. Well, the game got rained out, so I just stayed in Havre that night, and we got up at 3. We got up at 3 in the morning, drove the hour and a half to Great Falls, got there. I got on the plane, 7 a.m. flight out. Then I had a 1:30 flight or 1:40 flight to Fort Lauderdale.
But hold on, you're going from Great Falls to Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
Seattle to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, so like Fort Lauderdale, and then all your dream. That's a 5.5 hour flight. And you're thinking to yourself, all you want is an upgrade to first class. I got and this flight was looking pretty full, and you're looking at, I'm not going to get upgraded. I see that, and then you're looking at the standby list and everything. But I was like in the premium class, like row 9. And I look, and amazingly, the middle seat stayed open. Like when that door shut, there was a fist pump like Luis Castillo. I was just like,
a tiger uppercut fist pump.
So you get premium class with a seat in the middle. I call that working man's first class. You don't.
Yeah.
And so it was good. The guy in the window seat managed to go to the bathroom 5 times on the flight.
Oh.
And he was in there a while, but then I'm thinking to myself, hey, buddy, keep drinking the coffee with the espresso vodka. That's going to help your constitution.
Jesus.
I'm not going to lie, Puck. I had 5 double Buffalo Traces and soda on the flight.
Oh, my God. 5 doubles?
Yeah.
Woo.
I mean, I was like, well, I mean, like, think about it. I've been sitting first class where they come even more often. I'd have been. It was like the one year, first time I ever went to Hawaii. I was with my parents, my sister, her husband, and their daughter at the time. And I got upgraded to first class, and nobody else did. And I proceeded.
Did you think maybe hand it off to a family member, or no?
Oh, no.
Just take it for yourself, huh? You selfish SOB.
When I was sitting there and my dad was walking by, I go, get your ass back to steerage, boy.
Did you say, hey, did you see that curtain? You're not. Nothing. It's like a Seinfeld episode, but nothing. And I think they did this episode.
Yes.
I hate it when they whip that goddamn curtain closed.
Oh, I know this much. I was supposed to drive the vehicle when we got off the plane in Maui. I could barely walk when we got off the plane from Maui.
And then I also it drives me crazy. Please use the lavatory in your section. Yeah. Really? When there's like 30 people lined up back here, I can't walk up there with no one's there. Come on.
Yeah, it's stupid.
All right, they lose. Let's get to some baseball. They dropped this series to Cleveland. Just an overall thought on that 3-game series with the Guardians. What'd you take away from it?
I mean, it was still competitive, sort of, but like I wonder, like every year, the way teams play, you just have bad matchups. and it may not just be based on talent, but it's the way they play or whatever. Just like, and a team, the Guardians are good. They're not like unbeatable, but it just seems like it's a bad matchup for the Mariners because they put the ball in play so much. Some of the strikeout factors that the Mariners generate, they just don't seem to factor in. They can, I wouldn't say neutralize, but they are not afraid of the Mariners starting pitching. Because they put the ball in play so much, because of how they play, they can attack that. And I think what we also saw is like the starters are all pretty good still, but the bullpen was really, I thought, exposed even more so in that series. Because they are, they don't have. I mean, like it's not like the Guardians can't strike out, but they don't have enough swing and miss guys. Like there's not a Matt Brash in there where you need a strikeout in that situation. And then like you look at Mike Baumann, like gets 2 quick outs, and then you walk a guy with 2 outs. Like the focus and like the execution that they need in those situations, because he allowed that inning to balloon, and in a game that's a workable lead, maybe you can come back from. But also like the way the Guardian starters are, like Tanner Bybee is like, and granted the strike zone is terrible, but Tanner Bybee throws nothing but breaking balls, and that's just not something the Mariners want to see.
But we go back to that first game in which Crawford, or was that the second game? I can't remember now, but in which Crawford was ejected and Service was ejected. I think the one, and I agree with you. I mean, it was especially the first 2 pitches, and his first at bat was bad, and then his last at bat was bad. I think sandwiched in between there, I don't think, at least based on the StatCast, he didn't miss a single pitch there. No. At least the umpire. But it felt like to me that J.P. Crawford immediately just got upset after the very first pitch, and he just could never recover from it.
Yeah.
And I know it was a bad call. I know that. But I mean, bad calls happen, but he just, I don't know, maybe he's just having a bad day or what it was, but he seemed like immediately just kind of got out of it. And that any other pitch that was going to be close, borderline, he and the rest of the team was going to find a way to complain about it. I thought they got taken out of their game real early, really, with that first pitch.
Well, I think they've had some issues with Doug Eddings in the past, his inconsistency. Oh. And so I think that's, you walk out there and you're like, okay, this guy sucks. And then on the very first pitch. And also I think, you look at JP and he's had some spurts and he's played well, but like he's also had some horrible luck, like the 3 doubles he has this year should all be homers, like by a 6-inch, combined foot. He's had a bunch of, the Grand Slam and in Colorado, it should have been a Grand Slam. There was one in New York, I think, or I don't even know where, DC. He's had some balls, and he's had some tough luck, and he's trying to be productive. And I think that's also where the frustration lies. It's like, look, I'm grinding through this, and I'm trying to work out of this, and you're putting me behind in counts. And there's no better hitter with 2 strikes on the team than JP in terms of being comfortable with it. But that doesn't mean he wants to do it all the time. And I think, I think there's a frustration level after a while when you're really fighting to get going and trying to put some games and some bats together. And then, the umpire essentially takes the bat out of your hands and shoves it up your ass. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You can't, because it's hard to hit with 2 strikes and they're already grinding. And I think JP knows too, he's a very, when he gets on base consistently and does what he does, we talk a lot about Julio, but think about some of the better comeback wins they've had and some of the better offensive games they've had. It's relied a lot on JP. He's in the middle of that scoring runs, him and Rojas.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the frustration led.
And I think you saw it. I think you saw it in that first at bat because that third pitch, which he probably would normally not swing at, but he's looking at it. I already have 2 strikes on me. I better swing at this because he's going to call it a strike.
It takes you out of your approach of what you're trying to look for and what you're trying to do. And the other thing is it's fine. If you're going to call it that way the whole game, then call it that way. But Eddings doesn't do that. I mean, umpiring has been as bad as it's ever been before in baseball. And I mean, I think they're going to have the challenge system next year and stuff like that. I mean, all those pitches will be challenged and they'll be overturned. And these umpires, I think, because they know the challenge system's coming, because of all this stuff, and they've been even more confrontational because I think they feel like the criticism's higher and higher. So they're confrontational as well because they don't, but I'm like...
Well, they feel their livelihood is at stake right now.
Yeah.
That
So
they're
I mean,
going to
like,
be replaced by the automated ball and strike the zone. So I mean I get the frustration, but I think you're right. I think the animosity and them being confrontational this year has been higher than in the past.
I think it's just and I mean it's just building, and the thing is like you just have to they have to play, but it's an issue, and the best, like I always joke, the best umpires are the ones you don't even know is there.
Yeah,
It's like just do your job. It's not about you. Nobody pays to come see the umpires.
right.
So like I think it's I mean like Luke Raley, that crew is not good. That's a bad crew. And like Luke Raley has never been ejected from a game in his life, and he got ejected in that series. It's like it doesn't need to be this way.
That was a hell of a game by Raley, by the way.
Yeah.
The home run, the uncle dropping it, the catch that he made in foul territory, and then getting ejected to be the second member of the Raley family to be ejected from Cleveland.
Yeah,
do we know what the father did? Was it last year, a couple of years ago, why he got ejected?
Yelling at umpires, I believe, from the stands or something like that.
I bet he was a great little league dad.
I mean, it's like 13U over and over again, like I respect it. If you're going to go big.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. I love that the fact the uncle dropped the ball.
Oh my God. Right in his hands too. Like, hey buddy, I'm not for bringing a glove, but man, maybe you should have brought a glove. Maybe he's gonna look that bad.
Yeah, maybe
take your hat off. Use your hat or something.
There you go. Yeah, do that. What do you take anything away from the Castillo performance yesterday because Garver was catching him for the first time? Because he seemed to not throw his fastball as much as he normally does. They noted that on the broadcast. And I wonder if that was an effort that they went in together, Garver and Castillo, or was that something that Garver wanted him to steer Castillo towards more than maybe he wanted?
I wasn't surprised with the changeup usage because it's one of his better weapons against lefties. And because they swing so much and they're so aggressive, like, hey, let's use this changeup, get it off the plate. Maybe we can get some rollover ground balls and such. But we got the version of Castillo where when he was missing, it was missing to the middle of the plate and not off of it. And I mean, like, and sometimes it's funny, like Cal was talking about it the other day, like, how he sets up for targets and stuff is different for every pitcher because not every pitcher keys on everything. It's not just where the glove is, it's where your body's positioned. Logan Gilbert talked about it. Like Cal knows exactly where he wants a pitch to be, and he knows that for the aiming point that Logan wants to throw in that spot, he has to set up differently. And maybe that's just something they have to work out with Castillo. But I just really thought like Castillo had really good stuff, but it was like the command of it was always missing to the middle and missing on the plate. And against that team who can really, put the ball in play, you're just helping them out because they'll put the ball in play off the plate. So if you're putting it on the plate more, that's the worst thing. You got to miss and miss bigger because it's not like they're walking a ton either. They're up there swinging.
God, they're a fun team to watch offensively, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, like they.
Man, they are.
Well, I mean, I love Jose Ramirez.
I love all of them. I don't think there's a player I don't like on that team.
I mean, Jose Ramirez has got a gut like me and you.
First of all, what about Naylor? Come on, Naylor's the guy that we gotta love. Naylor looks like he's eating his siblings.
I know he's got that. Naylor's built like this. Every slow pitch softball player you see in Spanaway.
100%.
Or else
absolutely.
Or one of the extras from the new Bodyguard or the new Roadhouse movie. And he's a shit talker out there. I honestly thought they were going to dot him the next time up. Like, hey man, you're going to talk all this crap. Here's one in your rib cage.
Yeah, he talks a lot. He talks a lot of shit.
He's their emotional leader though, But like, so me and Kramer, I don't know if I said this, but we love Jose Ramirez because he just is like the happiest dude on the field, and he's kind of built like us. Like that guy don't lift weights. That's always been the knock on him is they thought that like his production would decline because he doesn't work out really. He just plays baseball as his workouts. And after every game in T-Mobile, he comes walking down the hallway from the visitors clubhouse, and he's got the kind of Hawaiian shirt or the button-down shirt open, and he's got the tank top underneath, and it's tight, and then the belly's hanging out. And he kind of walks with a little sachet. And the best part is he's always carrying a red Solo cup, and you can smell the Patron. or whatever it is, the tequila in there. Kramer's always just like, love that man. He's the best.
Oh, God bless him.
I mean,
God
and like
bless him.
but he's like, you watch him, he can run. He's a great switch hitter. He hits for power. He's 5'9", and
He's great.
And he's a great player.
They're going to be active, don't you? Because what they're lacking is a true ace, right? Yeah. Obviously because of the injury to Bieber, but I don't know who will be available, but they'd be active. They should try to be active at the deadline to get somebody.
I mean, Marlins have a couple starters, and I don't know. I don't think they'll go for Zach Crochet, but
that's a good one.
I don't know that they'll do that within the division, but they have Kyle Manzanardo, who's a pretty WSU kid, who's a pretty touted prospect, but at the same time, he doesn't play a ton. Maybe they use him to get a guy. Whether the Mets have some starters too. I don't know if they're very good, but we'll see here in the next few weeks if there's a team that's kind of folds.
Yeah, who's the when Verlander was available a couple of years ago at the deadline? Who's the Verlander of this year?
I mean, I guess Crochet. I don't think that the Angels have anybody that's any good. I don't think the Paul Blackburns of the world for the A's move the needle. He's a good starter, but I don't know that there isn't really a Verlander yet.
No,
that could change.
Yeah,
that could change. I mean, look at the the Cardinals are starting to play better, but they have all those guys on 1-year deals too. That's a guy you could trade for. One of those guys, I think it's the rotting corpse of Lance Lynn on there, and all those teams. So I don't know.
Hey, have you seen that? What are your thoughts though on trading within the division? You think it's a good thing or bad thing? I ask because there's reports coming out of Oakland that they would entertain trading Mason Miller, the reliever.
Yeah. It's funny that I don't think Jerry DiPoto has a problem trading with division. I think other people have trading in the division, the other teams.
Yeah.
You think the Astros would ever trade Kyle Tucker to the Mariners? Are you kidding me?
Wouldn't that be great?
I mean, could you think of a better fit than Kyle Tucker for the Mariners? Athletic, can run, plays defense, and is left-handed with power. And I mean, just so you don't have to face him anymore would be a huge deal. Mason Miller is going to get a lot, and somebody
a lot in return, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they're going to ask for a lot. But so I think I said it before, but the Mariners, when Oakland was doing their fire sale, the Mariners called on Matt Chapman. They loved Matt Chapman. They offered 4 players for Matt Chapman,
Jesus.
And the A's said no. And it was Noelvi Marte and Brandon Williamson, and kind of the package that went for Castillo. They wanted Matt Chapman that badly because they felt like his personality and the way he attacked the game and everything fit them. And they felt like the clubhouse too and the guys they had would bring out the best in Matt Chapman. And the A's said no. And then the A's tried to package it with Montas and Chapman, but they wanted Kirby in the deal. And the Mariners were like, we're not giving up George Kirby for that, in a deal with all these other guys.
You think
the Mariners tried to trade for Seth Brown last spring as a backup outfielder and a left-handed complement for last year's team, and the A's said no because they said they wanted his veteran leadership.
What about Rooker? You think you'd call about Rooker?
I'm sure they already have, honestly.
Oh.
They probably have already called on him. I mean, because he's got club control, he's cheap.
Yeah.
And you're not probably having to give up the prospect package, but he fits a lot of the things they like. But I don't know. It's the other day, it was funny. I was listening to the flagship, and they had the happiest national baseball reporter ever, JP Morosi.
JP, our good buddy.
Nobody should be that happy. I automatically,
you know what? Try happiness once in your life.
No, I automatically distrust people that are that happy. It's like when you go to Dutch Brothers Coffee and they're really excited. I love that coffee. Don't get me wrong.
It's great coffee. They can be a sponsor one day.
And you're waiting in line, but I love that nitro cold brew down in Arizona because it's just pure caffeine fuel.
Just gasoline. It's gasoline into your veins is what
I drank 2 one time and I was shaking. But JP is super happy, but I heard him talking on there about trade candidates and he mentioned, I really think it's going to be somebody like Luis Rengifo or Taylor Ward of the Angels. And I'm dude, even, it was funny, even Brock Heward, who listened to that clip, goes, no, they're not trading with the Angels. Jerry DiPoto's never set foot in Angel Stadium since he left that team. And you think Artie Moreno's going to make a deal that helps Jerry DiPoto
Hey, you never know.
win a division?
No.
Not a chance.
Hey,
we have a better chance of becoming like men's health models than that happening.
Well, you do. I mean, you've made it clear that, you could still date college girls and I cannot. So,
I mean, it's just,
the truth hurts. I know the truth hurts. It hurts. Hey, what did you, real quick, just on yesterday's game, the decision not to pinch hit Dylan Moore late in the game?
I mean, these guys are hitting bombs.
Okay.
He's been hitting what is the ultimate outcome? He's
been hitting on the road. He hasn't been.
Yeah. I mean, but he's hit on the road. He's hit there.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. It's, you don't always so then everybody gets mad. Oh, Scott Service stays the analytics only. It's like only analytics. It's who uses an iPad. No, he stayed with the guy that hit some bombs and was seeing the ball well.
That's where I was steering you towards, because we can't have it both ways. We can't be critical of him when people are critical when he simply just goes with the analytics, and then you need to manage with more feel. Yesterday, I think he managed with feel. And whatever, and it didn't work out, but I don't know. I kind of like it. I understood the reasoning why he did it.
Well, and they don't just go by splits numbers too. They have like all these other metrics that based on pitcher stuff, batter swing plane. I mean, like the stuff that they have is next level, and it spits out numbers. Like Adam Jude is going to have a story on this eventually. He says he is. It's kind of like
maybe if he gets around to stop modeling, maybe he'll do it.
So, but just kind of all the work that goes into this, and like the sheets that they have and everything like that, and what they do to go in their decision making, and all the extra stuff, because it's not just the splits we can find on Baseball Reference. I mean, if that was the case, everybody could be an advanced guy.
Before I let you go, have you seen the photo of Jerry DiPoto and Scott Boras sitting next to each other in Modesto watching the Nuts play the other day? What do you think they're discussing? My fingers are crossed, they're discussing an extension for Cal Raleigh.
I mean,
please.
It's possible. Well, but I think Hollander handles a lot of the contract negotiations and stuff like that. That's more of his forte. Obviously, Jerry is the bigger picture guy, so he has it's the green light from him. Maybe, it's comes down to money, what the Mariners are going to offer. John Stanton in that conversation said, we are still looking at ways to extend these guys, but you've got to give real money. You have to pay real dollars to lock these guys up. It's not Evan White who needed the money for family stuff. It's not, that's not going to happen. They tried to do that with Logan Gilbert when he was a rookie. They offered him like a 5-year extension, and was, not, and like the agent was kind of pissed about it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to offer, you got to offer it. Do I think that they should do it with Cal? Yeah, I can't think of a bigger leader on this team than Cal Raleigh.
There's not. You and I have discussed it many times. I think he's the most important player on the team.
I had some guy complaining to me. You pick him as the MVP because he's batting .210. In that clip, I literally just said, yes, I understand his batting average is in the 200s, but here's why. But far be it for anybody to use any critical thought or comprehension or have a conversation that's a little nuanced. God, all right. People sometimes.
I know you do. Go take your anger out on some more weights. Go check out South Beach in Miami. Tell that woman to keep it down in the background of the gym. We love you. Enjoy your time on Miami, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
There he is, Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times with some. What is she yelling at? What's wrong with her?
She's old. She's having the speaker conversation.
There it is, episode 174 with Ryan Divish from a Miami hotel gym with some crazy woman yelling in the background. All brought to you by Chalet Bowl. Visit chaletbowl.com to make your next reservation. See you, Dev.
See you, man. Take it easy.